Good morning, everyone. In the last class, we are trying to discuss with multi-threading concepts here. So basically, the multi-threading concepts is we are going to achieve using one class as well as one interface here. So what is the name of the class we are going to use? So the name of the class here that is called thread. And in the last class also we identified the runnable interface here. So we'll try to check with the same example one more time here. So basically, Java is going to provide the built-in support for the multi-threaded programming. So what exactly it's going to work here? Basically, what I want to explain here. So we are going to run this more part of the execution simultaneously. So if you observe here, if any program that contain more than one part of execution, so that can run parallelly. So without depending on the other thread, it's going to execute simultaneously. So these are the concepts we are going to achieve here. So basically, what I want to provide here, whenever we are running any application, if you are running more than one thread, so they are not going to depend on the each other. So they will try to execute their own path of execution here. So this is we are going to achieve here, and this kind of functionality, if you want to develop here, we are going to do, we'll try to focus on the one thread class as well as one interface class. So this is the one thread class we identified, and so we are going to check with the one interface that is called runnable. So that is called runnable. So we'll try to check with the inside the runnable interface what are the methods are available here. So basically only one method is available, that is known as a run method. Whenever we are trying to implement this particular runnable interface, what we need to do, this particular run method, we have to be override to provide the multi-threading features here. Getting the point. So along with this, what we are doing here, if you observe, if you want to know what is exactly the name of the current thread, what we are going to do, simply we are going to call thread.current thread. So basically, current thread is a static method. Current thread is a static method is going to provide the, so what is the name of the current thread? Getting the point. So after that, what we are doing here, we are trying to check with the name of the current thread, and we are checking with the priority of the current thread. So whether this particular current thread still is in active status or it is in any terminated status, we are going to identify by calling this method called isAlive. Getting the point. So after this, what we are doing here, if we observe, we are having one method that is called sleep. What we are doing here, we are trying to call the sleep method to make the current thread sleep some certain time here. Getting the point. So if you observe carefully, we'll try to execute this particular simple example here. Now, observe carefully how exactly this particular current thread is executing. You can see we are in the loop of this particular for loop here. Now you can observe this loop is going to run up to 5 times. So the 5 time values we are going to see with some specified time frame here. Observe in the console, you are going to observe 0 and 1 is printed, and you can observe the second also is printed. Now you can observe the third also is printed, and you can see fourth. These are about the 5 values we are going to get here, because we are in the loop of this particular for loop. Using loop, what we are doing here, the current thread. So whatever the current thread we are getting, the current thread we are making some time to sleep here. So there is nothing but 5 seconds is specified here, so that each time the thread is going to wait. Getting the point. So here you can observe here, basically whenever we are running this particular current thread here, Now we'll try to check with the particular output here. So carefully observe here current thread. So if we want to identify name of what is the current thread information, you can see. So this is the way we are going to get an information here. Basically, this information is coming from the toString method, so which is override the particular thread class. So we'll try to focus what exactly this particular the message is converting like this. Make sure this is the name of the thread, the first name, and the 5 is indicating as a priority of the thread, and the third one so is coming from the thread group. So if you observe, we'll try to focus on the inside this particular thread class. So we'll see inside the thread class toString method. Inside this thread class toString method. Observe here we are having the brace, and the brace is closed here, and the name of the thread we are getting, so that is called the priority thread. This is nothing but thread group name. Same way we are getting or not, you can observe here the current thread here, the thread is coming from this or this. So we can see based on this particular group not equal null, this particular block will return, otherwise the else block will return. But make sure in the both cases we are having the particular thread here, the thread we are finding, and this is nothing but get name. Get name is nothing but name of the thread. The second one we are getting as a priority, the third one we are getting as a thread group name. So this is the third one we are getting group here. So it's nothing but thread group. So it contains more than one thread information here. So you can see this particular thread belongs to which group. So that is indicating here that is coming from the main group. So by default we are going to get this. And after that, what I am doing here, I change the thread the thread name here. So how I change here? We'll go for the one more time here. Observe here how I change here by calling the current thread set name. Using this particular set name, what we are doing here, we are trying to set the name of the thread. You can observe here. After that, whatever the value we set it, the same value we are getting again whenever we are calling the current thread. Whenever we are calling the current thread. So this is the way we are having the method called set name to set the name of the thread. So instead of using the by default names, what we can do, we can make whatever the name of the thread we want to use, right? And after this, we are trying to get the name of the thread. So get priority whether this particular thread is available or not. So it's nothing but still the thread is available or it is in the terminated state. We can find it using it particular method called isAlive. So that is also we identified in the toString method. Same thing they are using to provide the proper output here. Getting the point. So this is the way we can override the toString method, whatever the output we want to make customization. Getting the point. Now back to here. On the last class we discussed three examples here by using first one current thread, and second one we identified implementing runnable interface. So basically what we are doing here, so as I explained here, we are going to work with the particular thread using one interface called runnable interface, and we are going to work with the one thread called thread class. So we'll try to focus on this particular runnable interface. So carefully observe here, inside this particular runnable interface, what are the information we are having here? Only one method, that is called run method. Only run method, and this is the interface called the runnable interface. So we'll go for the same example here. And whenever we are trying to implement this particular interface called runnable, what we need to do? We need to override the particular run method. So if you observe carefully what I am doing here, this is the constructor. This is the constructor of the new thread here. By specifying one parameter, what I am doing here? I am specifying one parameter, something called string name, and using what we are doing here. I am passing the name of the thread. I am passing the name of the thread, and this is indicating current thread. So this is indicating that this is indicating a current object, and after this we are calling the start method. Whenever we are calling the start method, so internally the run method is going to executed here. So carefully observe here. Again we are calling current thread. Along with the current thread, we are passing some I value, and after that name of the current thread we are getting the point. And how many threads we are creating here? So we are creating 3 threads we are creating here. The name of the each thread here, something called 1, 2 thread. Getting the point. Observe here. So before going to the picture of main thread, so we are checking whether this particular thread is alive or not. Is nothing but the particular thread is available or not. We are checking. Whenever we are calling join method here, what happened internally? So basically, so based on this particular reference, so which reference we are making here? We are having 3 objects here. Is nothing but 3 threads we created internally. What we are doing here, each thread we are making to stop here. Right. Stop is nothing but what we are doing here. So whenever we are calling the join method, internally the current thread is going to terminate it. Until the current thread termination, the join method is going to wait here. Getting the point. Until the termination, the join method is going to wait. So once this particular thread is terminated, now what we are doing here, we are checking again with the same reference whether this particular current thread is available or not. So these are about the is alive method and as well as join method. So carefully observe here how exactly this example is working internally. Now, so observe carefully the current thread we are getting 1, and the priority is something called here, we are in the loop. The first loop we are getting as a 0. The current loop value, something called I value, we are getting 0. And after that, what we are doing here, so observe here, the one thread is executed and the I value 0. And later you can observe these 3 true we are getting here. The 2, 3 are coming from the, so this value. So these are the 3. Basically, what I want to explain here, what exactly is happening here. These are the 3 sets we created. So these 3 sets are called by the main thread. Basically, the main thread is going to call the constructor of this particular class. So whenever this particular constructor is called, what happened internally? Observe carefully. Internally, one more thread is created here. So how we are identifying here? We are creating a thread object here. So it's nothing but one thread is creating internally. And you can see how many constructors we are having. 3 constructors we created is nothing but we are having the 3 objects. So internally, the particular 3 threads are created internally. Right. So only the calling this particular constructor is done by the main thread. And once this particular constructor is called internally, the 3 threads we created, and each thread is going to start the each thread is going to start this particular operation whenever we are calling this particular start method. Now this particular start method is not going to call by the main thread. So this is very important here. Carefully observe here. The just behavior here, the main thread is going to call the constructor here. That's it. Internally, observe carefully. New thread is creating. The newly thread is going to start. And whenever the newly thread is going to start here, what happening here? So this particular run method is going to executed here. Getting the point. Now observe here. So carefully observe here. And so these are the methods are executed by the main thread. And after that, what we are doing here? After that, what we are doing here, we are trying to make the particular current thread to stop. So this is the way we are getting an output here. And now the same output we are going to check with the thread class. The same output we are going to check with the thread class. So observe here, this is extending from the thread class. The previous example we identified is extending from the runnable interface. Now, So this is extending from the thread class. So carefully observe, whenever we are calling this particular super, what we are doing here, basically in the thread class, we are having one constructor which is taking string as a parameter, So that's the reason we are calling this particular super. And after this, what we are doing is simply we are calling start. So we don't have any reference here because we are not creating any object of this particular thread class. Why we are not creating an object here? So even though we are trying to access the super class features, we don't want to create an object here. Simply we can call the start method. Right. Whenever we are calling the start method internally, the run method is going to call here. And after this, so some of this particular example is going to execute it here. So carefully observe here. Now again I'm going to run the same example of this particular thread example. Observe carefully. Current thread, where we are calling this particular current thread. Now this. So what is exactly this is indicating here? So this is indicating every time whenever we are calling this particular constructor here, we are going to found the current thread information here. Right. Now carefully observe here. The name of the current thread information is changed here. How it is changed? Because what we are doing here, line number 5, we are calling the super by specifying the one message. So internally, what exactly it's doing here? Internally, it's creating name of the thread. So if you want to understand here, we can observe. Now you can see this is the constructor of one thread. So it's taking string as a parameter. Using this particular super keyword, the string parameterized constructor is going to call. Internally, is trying to override the default message of the thread name. Because of that, we are getting the thread information at first time. Right. Why we are getting this is as a first time? If you observe inside the main method, what we are doing here, simply we are calling the constructor of the new thread 2. So whenever we are calling here, because internally constructor is created and one thread is created, the thread information we are calling. Whenever the thread is created, internally it's going to execute whatever the information which we implemented inside the run method. And observe. And after that, what we are doing here? Main thread. So main thread where we are getting this message. So this is the main thread. The line number 26, you can observe this is the main thread. So carefully observe. This is the main thread and this is the child thread. So these two threads are created. How we created the two threads? By default, main thread will available, and using this particular constructor, we created one more thread. So that is where we are going to call as a child thread here. Getting the point? And here, so the particular child thread also having is executing internally inside the one loop. Same way, the main thread also internally executing inside the loop here. So because of that, observe carefully, main thread is executed, and so we made the main thread to stop some milliseconds here. Meanwhile, what happened here? The child thread is executed here. And observe the child thread also we stop some milliseconds of time. And meanwhile, the main thread is executed. So this is the concurrent operation is working internally. So there is no relation between the main thread and the child thread. So you can see main thread as well as the particular child thread. So main thread and the child thread. Getting the point? So this is the way the two threads are executing parallelly. Okay, so these are about the simple example we discussed on the last classes. Now, what I want to do, I want to provide more information on this particular thread. So basically, whenever we are trying to check with the current thread information, we are getting we are getting priority related information. Getting the point. So how exactly the priorities are going to work internally? Getting the point. So basically, these particular priorities are going to identify the thread scheduler. So based on the thread scheduler, what it will do, the thread scheduler is going to work on the priority threads are going to take more memory of the CPU compared to the lower priority of the threads. So in the thread, we are having three priorities here. So let me create a one class here. Simple example I want to create here, something called clicker. This particular clicker is going to implement from the runnable interface. And whenever we are trying to implement runnable interface, what exactly we are going to do? Let me save the class and implement this particular method here. Getting the point. So now observe carefully what exactly this particular priorities are going to work. I want to make, by default I am making the click as a 0, and internally I am creating one thread here. These are the variable information, and I want to work with one constructor. The constructor here is taking something called P. So if I observe carefully what I am doing here, whenever we are calling this particular constructor, so we need to specify the some integer value. Getting the point. And what I am doing internally, I am creating one thread object here. So by specifying this, so basically if I observe here, we are having multiple constructors here. So this is we are trying to communicate here the runnable target. So whenever we are specifying this keyword here, how it is converted into the runnable, because what we are doing internally, we are trying to implement the runnable interface here. We are trying to implement the runnable interface here. Getting the point. And the previous example we identified. So this is another constructor which is taking string as a one parameter here. Getting the point. So these all about the some of the constructors are available inside the thread class. Okay. Now observe, we created one thread class, and using this particular thread class, now what I am doing here, set priority. This priority is going to take as a P. So this particular P is coming from the constructor. Whenever we are calling this constructor, we are going to specify. Right. And whenever we are specifying this particular priority, what we are going to do, and inside this particular run method, now I'm making running. And this particular click I'm making as a plus plus. Getting the point. So these are about the run method. Now I want to make two more methods here. Running is equals to false. And when we are calling sort method internally, t dot start. So these are about the simple example. It is the clicker one class we implemented from the runnable interface, and which is having three methods here. So one is from the runnable interface. The two remaining two methods we created from the inside the clicker class. So carefully observe here. So carefully observe what exactly we are doing here. Now I'm running the main method here. So inside this particular main method, so simply thread dot current thread dot set priority, and this particular thread class having some of the priority that is called max priority. That is called max priority. So whenever I'm trying to set here which thread is going to set the max priority here, either this particular newly created thread or so which is coming from the main method. Basically, wherever we are defining this particular line of code, so it's going to take the current thread. Inside this particular main method we are defining, so this is going to take as the particular main thread as a max priority. The main thread we are making as a max priority. You can observe the max priority value, how much? That is called 10. You are able to see so we are able to see here the 10 value. Right. Now, so I will try to explain here. Along with max priority, we are having so two more priorities here. So you can see this is the main priority, so which is 0, and the particular num priority we are going to get as a 5. So between these priority, we need to specify whatever the priority we want to set here. So if we are trying to set out of this particular range, so it's not going to consider here. Getting the point? So 0 to 10 between we need to specify here. So carefully observe here. After this, what I am going to do? Clicker I am creating here, and here we need to specify the priority here. The priority, how I am specifying here? Again, I want to copy thread dot this particular num priority plus 2. This particular num priority plus 2. And the second one here, ck2, what I am doing here? Minus 2. So I'm having 3 threads running here. One we are having max priority, and the second one having along with num priority we are making some more value, and after this what I'm doing here, I'm trying to subtract from the num priority here. Getting the point? So this particular num priority having 5 value, so based on the addition we are going to get some time. One time we are going to get 7, and some other time we are going to get 3. So this is the way we are going to create the particular priority related example here. And after that, what I am doing here? So ck1 dot start. So whenever we are calling this particular ck1 dot start, what happened internally? So internally, what exactly it's doing here? This method is going to call is nothing but the newly created thread is going to start. But as of now, whenever we are not calling this particular thread.start method, the thread is not going to start at all. So just the thread is created, but it is not started. Getting the point? Now it is in the, so I will explain some of the states are available in the particular thread related example here. Basically, ck2 dot start. Right. And after this, what I am doing here? After this, I want to sleep some milliseconds of time. So I'm making some milliseconds of time here, something called 10 seconds. So carefully observe here. So he's asking throw the declaration or handle with the try catch. So we are going to handle with the try catch here. And after this, so here one more important point here. carefully observe which thread is going to stop. Which thread is going to stop? Which thread is going to stop here? So whenever which thread is trying to call this particular lines of code, the particular thread is going to stop here. And here the main thread is going to stop here, because the main inside the main method only we are implementing this logic, and the child thread is going to work with up to these lines of code. It's not going to come into the main method here. Getting the point? So that is the difference between child thread as well as this particular main thread here. Okay, after creating this particular try-catch block, now what I'm doing here? So ck1 dot stop and ck2 dot stop. So this is the way now I'm going to stop the two threads here. So it's nothing but this particular loop is not going to run one more time here, because the running method what we are doing is we are making false here. And if we observe carefully, after calling the stop method, now so the threads are still in the available mode only. So those are not yet terminated here. Getting the point? So even though this loop is returning false, this loop is return the false, but the threads are not yet terminated. The newly created thread. So newly created, how many threads we created? The newly created, these particular two threads are not yet terminated here. To terminate here, what exactly we are going to do here? So carefully observe here. Now, what exactly I'm doing here? So basically, ck1 dot t dot join. So this is a one method, and ck2 dot t dot join. So whenever we are calling this particular join, what happens internally? I'm going to handle with the try catch block. Let me copy the second one also into the try catch block. Okay. So if I'm going to save, what will happen here? Okay. So before calling this join method, I want to check ck1 dot t dot is alive. So we'll try to check here this particular two methods. Okay. And after, so that is we already identified whenever we are calling this particular join method, the current threads are going to terminate it. So until the current thread termination, the join method is going to wait here. Okay. Back to here. After this, we want to identify, so how many times this particular click is incremented. How many times this particular click is incremented. So carefully observe to understand that what we need to do here. After catch block, so here high thread priority. So how we are going to get this particular high thread priority? And using ck1 dot click variable, right? And we'll try to check with one more here, that is called low thread priority. So how we are identifying this is a low thread priority? By calling the num priority minus 2. So compared to the above one, it is a low priority thread, right? So basically, observe carefully. If I'm going to save this example, if I'm trying to run the same example, what are the outputs we are going to get? Observe here, we are getting the true. So these two are coming from the where we implemented this particular true here. Only here only we specified something called the particular current threads are still available. Now we'll check here. So you can observe the current example is not terminated here. So still it is in the active mode. So we need to wait couple of time because here I am giving you some time here. So something called 10 seconds. So I given the time here 10 seconds here. So we need to wait some 10 seconds to complete this particular example. So whenever the current example is terminated, you can observe this information is not available, and here we are going to get some message called terminated. Some message called we are going to get terminated here. So still it is in the active mode. What happened? Okay, still these two are running, or what happening? Okay, let me stop. Still it is running. So I terminate the current thread here. So simply I want to make something 100 here. So we are giving low priority. Sorry, we are making the main thread to wait some little milliseconds of time. Oh, any conflict we are getting here. This is not related to the sleep here. Okay. So let me check one more time what exactly it's happening. So we are getting the current thread, new object created. So observe here. So one more thread is basically now we are in the main thread because of this particular max priority. So it is not opening here. Now whenever I am trying to stop here, the current thread okay. And here okay. Maybe this particular thread is taking some more time. Let me make this as a 1922. So carefully observe here. As of now, how many threads we are having? Only one thread here. So whenever the constructor will create a, so after creating the constructor also, still we are having one thread only. So these are the new threads we created, but still we are having. When the new threads are going to start, whenever we are calling this particular start method. Observe here. One more thread enter into the picture here. Right. And after calling this, one more thread is coming. One more thread is coming here. And the current thread is it is in the sleep mode. The first thread is stopped here. Second thread also stopped here. And true. Okay, basically these are the joints are taking some more time here. Okay, so carefully observe. Now you can observe here. So we are getting, sorry, here I need to change CK2. Internally, you can observe here, this is the high priority thread and this is the low priority thread. So when we are calling the join method based on the thread scheduler, we are getting so more expected time here. Whatever the expected time, so compared to the expected time, we need to wait some more time to complete the current thread to terminate here. So because of that, what I did, like I commented the join method information here, but now we are able to focus here the highly priority thread, how many times the value is increased here. So it's nothing but, if you observe carefully, how many times this particular loop is running here. So that is going to indicating here, this is. So around we are having some bigger values here. And compared to the low value, the low thread priority, so we are having the high priority is having more value. So by seeing this particular message, what we are understanding here, the threads are going to have based on the priority. So based on the priority, the threads are going to run internally. But how we are going to identify which thread having the priority? And here, the thread scheduler is going to come into the picture. So it's going to identify which thread having high priority. And is going to identify the scheduler only. So these are about the simple example on the priority basis. So any questions regarding this particular thread priority? Okay. So if you observe carefully, when we are running this particular example, so we identify no communication between the each thread. So they are running parallelly. But if you want to make one by one, so what we can do? So if we want to make one by one, what we can do? And here we are having one important concept called synchronization. So using the synchronization, we are going to achieve. So basically, what exactly it will do? And every time only one thread is going to enter into the block of code or method wherever we are using this particular synchronization here. Right. The remaining threads are going to wait till until the first thread completion of the particular operation here. Okay. The simple example we'll try to look into it how exactly it's going to work. Basically, when the current thread is entered into the any block of code which is using the synchronization here, so it's going to make some locking system here. The lock cannot be released until the current thread come out of the particular block of code here. Getting the point. So we'll try to focus here how exactly we can implement this particular example. Back to here, I want to create a one more class here, something called call me. So this particular class having some information, something called call some message. The call me method having the one method that is called so call method which is taking one parameter that is known as a message. And here what I am doing here. Here what I am doing here. So simply I'm opening one brace and I'm appending one message here. And after message appending thread dot sleep. So I'm making this particular thread to sleep 1 second. So that we need to specify 1000 milliseconds. After this, what I'm going to do? After executing this particular catch block, again I'm trying to print the message, and here I'm specifying one more brace. So here one opening brace having, and here one closing brace. Inside between these, what we are doing here, we are making message here. So what expected output we are seeing here? Something called message. So this is we need to see here. Getting the point? Okay. After this, let me save this example. I'm having one more class here, something called caller, and it is a runnable interface. What we are doing here, we'll try to override the run method, and along with this, what I'm doing here, I'm providing some information, target and thread T. So we are having three parameters here, three variables we declare here. And I'm going to call the constructor here. So by calling the constructor, I'm passing the call me target something called string A. And after this, what I'm going to do, target is equals to target message is equals to A. And so T is equals to new thread. I'm passing this. And we are calling the particular thread. And whenever we are calling this particular run, what we are going to do? So target dot call. What we need to pass here? The message information, whatever we are passing by calling this particular constructor. That is we are going to pass. So these are about the caller, right? And now I'm creating main method here. Inside the main method, what I'm going to do? I'm going to create around 4 objects here. Okay. Before creating caller, what we can do? We'll create a call me, something called me, because the same object we are going to pass. And here caller is equals to new caller is taking as a one parameter call me, another parameter as a object here, something called hello, and later, so 3 objects here, caller 1 and caller 2. And here what I want to specify here, so carefully observe what exactly we are getting a message, what message we are expecting here, wall here. Getting the point? So basically the output we are expecting whenever we are calling this particular call method, so by specifying this information, opening brace, hello, synchronize, wall, close. So this is the way we are expecting here. Okay. And after this, what we can do, okay, simply these are the enough, because internally the thread is going to start. So let's see what output we are going to get here. So if you observe carefully, Basically, let me change the perspective of this particular Java. Observe here. What output we are getting here? So how many open braces we are having? 3 opening braces and 3 closing braces. But what we need here? Only one opening brace and only one closing brace, and remaining it has to be paused inside the one opening brace and one closing brace. But if you observe here, each object here, so we are having one opening brace and one closing brace. So we don't want to, this is not a we are expecting an output here. Going back to here, so carefully observe here what we are having the expected output here. To make this, what we can do here? So to make this, what we can do here? So we need to use the keyword called synchronized here. We need to use the synchronized here. Getting the point? So to use this particular synchronize, what I can do, I'm going to make inside this particular caller basically what I'm doing here, I'm specifying here synchronized block here, and we are going to work with the target object here, that is called our super class, and this information I'm going to pass inside this particular synchronize. So let me save the same example here. Carefully observe if I'm going to run the same example. What happened here? So if we observe carefully, what happens here? So it's expecting one opening brace and one closing brace for each thread. Right. So initially, what we are getting an output here? Initially, what output we are getting? So one brace is open. Inside the one brace, one more brace is open for the second thread, and inside one more thread is open here. Getting the point? So instead of working this, what we can do here? So now, whenever we are working with this particular block, what exactly is doing here? This particular block is expecting as a one object here, right? So once one object is completed, the lock is going to release. So this is one more difference here. And back to here, I want to comment this particular example. So going back to the method level. Going back to the method level. So carefully observe here. Now, if I'm going to run this particular example, see the output difference here. What happened? Again, we are getting the same here. The preceding call. Let me check here. Yes. Okay. Sorry. The sysout also is important here. The particular sysout also it is important here. So what exactly we are expecting here? That is print, and this is the println. Now going back to here, if I am going to run, observe here. Careful observe here what exactly we are getting here. So this is we are expecting here for each object here. Hello, synchronize and world. One opening brace and one closing brace. between whatever the message we are passing here. So if I'm going to remove this, so I want to add one more time the same example here. So carefully observe here, I'm removing a particular synchronized keyboard here. So carefully observe how it will printing the message here. The same example I want to show you. So observe here. Hello opening, but it is not closed. Again, one more open and which is synchronized. Again, one more open here, which is volume. After this, we are having the closing braces here. After we are having closing braces. So to work on the method level, what we need to do is, so we need to specify the synchronized keyboard. And if we want to work on the block level, so this is the way we can work here. If I want to open this also, we are going to get same output here. So we are going to get the same output here. So observe the same output we are getting here. Hello, synchronize, and one. So this is the between the block of code and method level. So we can restrict the multiple threads. So what will happen here? Basically, how many threads we have? 3 threads, right? So once this particular current thread enter into the block of code, what happens here? The remaining threads are waited up to until the current thread come out of the particular block. So this is the way it happens for the remaining threads. Getting the point? These are about the. So using the synchronization, we can get the expected output. So when we are working with a multiple environment, so that is known as a multi-threaded programming, right? And after this, so how the inter-thread communication is going to perform? So inter-thread communication. To understand this particular inter-thread communication, what we are going to do? So I explained one day we are having the 3 methods that we are going to discuss in the multi-thread environment. So that is known as inside this particular object class. Inside this particular object class, we are having methods called wait method. This is the overloaded method. Now, so this is the overloaded method. It's having 3 parameters. So we'll try to check here, and you can observe all the methods are the final methods. All methods are the final methods. So what is the mean by final methods? Basically, the final method can be used in the inheritance concept here. Can we use? So we can't use this particular final method. So all the methods are the final. So wait and notify all methods. So we'll see using these 3 methods how we can work with the inter-thread communication here. Getting the point? How we can achieve the inter-thread communication here. So to work on this particular inter-thread communication, what I'm going to do here, again, I'm going to create one more class here. So the class here, one is a producer class, one more is a consumer class. So that is nothing but PC. Producer and consumer class I'm going to create it here. Inside this particular producer and consumer class, I'm having one variable that is known as a n. Sorry. So basically, I'm having one method called get method. Inside this particular get method, I want to specify some message called got and return n. This method I'm making synchronized, and one more I'm having put method. This taking as a one parameter that is called int n. And after this, I want to specify some message, something called put method. Here, what I can do, whatever the value we are setting. And this is also, I'm making synchronizer. So these are the producer and consumer based application here. And after this, what I am going to do? One more, I'm going to create the class. The class here, producer class I'm going to create. And this particular producer is going to implement from the runnable interface. Whenever this class is implemented from the runnable interface, so we are already aware of it. We need to create this particular run. We need to override the run method. And here I'm working with the PC class. The PC class is nothing but so producer and consumer class. Inside this particular constructor, I'm going to pass PC. Right. What I can do? This dot PC is equals to PC. And later, now what I am doing here? I'm creating one thread here by passing this as a parameter and the name of the thread I'm passing here, something called producer. After this, I'm going to call start. Right. And whenever we are calling this particular start here, which will call the run method, internally I is equals to 0. Again, I'm going to work with one loop here. True. And when I'm making this particular loop as a true, internally what I'm going to do? PC dot put. Whatever the n value we are having, I'm going to set. Okay. So we don't have a n value. Directly we are having I value. The I value I'm going to pass here. This is all about the producer related example. Now I'm going to create one more class that is called consumer. So this particular consumer class also it's going to implement from the runnable. So again I want to take the PC here and one constructor. Here this dot PC is equals to PC, getting the point. And later what we will do? We'll create a one more thread object here by passing the same information, this comma thread name that is known as a consumer dot start. And here what I am going to do here? We observe here while true PC dot get PC dot get here. So these are about the consumer example here. Getting the point. Now whenever we are calling this, so what we can do here? One more class I am going to create that is known as a PC demo. It is having the main method, and inside the main method what we are going to do? We'll create a one object called PC is equals to new PC, and later what we are going to do? We'll create producer and right. So one producer application, one more is consumer application. If we observe carefully, this application is going to run. There is no condition here. It will try to run. You can observe here. It's try to executing. There is no stop point here. There is no stop point here. What we can do directly, we'll stop here. Whenever we are running this kind of application, what happens internally? So basically, based on the synchronization, okay, sorry. Okay, based on this particular synchronization, what exactly is happening? So the put method is trying to put the value. Same way, the get method is trying to load the value. Right. Basically, we don't have any condition here. So because of this particular condition, what happens here? And it's not yet stopping here. Okay, now using the same method, using the same logic, what I will do, we'll try to check with the three methods which we just discussed just now, that is known as a wait, notify, and notify all. Getting the point? Observe carefully. Observe carefully. I'm going inside this particular PC class, and I am going to define the one more variable that is known as a boolean value set by default it is false. By default it is false here. And internally inside this particular get method, what I will do, I'm making one loop here. The condition here value set. Getting the point? Whenever we are making this particular value set, what I will do internally, I will call wait method. So again, it's going to throw some interrupted exception here. After calling this particular wait method, what I will do, I'm not going to do any changes here. We will keep as it is here, but make sure we need to call notify information here. Notify information here. Okay. Value set is equals to true. After this, because we are having only one thread, so we are going to call as a notify, and again I'm trying to return n. The same logic we are going to implement inside this particular put method. The same logic we are going to implement inside this particular put method. If we observe while, inside the while, what we can do, value set. Getting the point? Okay, so now again I'm going to call wait method. Whenever we are calling the wait method, what we will do, simply after executing this particular block, we'll try to make the n value and value set is equals to true, and okay, so I don't want to make it in the two cases too. I want to make one case false, one case true. Why I want to make one case false, one case true? Basically, we doesn't know at a time we are going to work with the two cases. So that's the reason we don't want to use the out here. And here we need to call notify method. Here we need to call the particular notify method. And inside this particular, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the same thing here, the producer and consumer based applications here. Producer and consumer based application. Carefully observe. So initially the value set is false, and if the value set is false, this condition will satisfy. Right. This condition will satisfy. After this, what I am going to do, whenever we are making this particular true, let me check here. Okay, this condition put method is not going to satisfy. Value set every time we are making the false will return. So that is we are making, again we are making true. Yes. Let me check here. False. Simple example, I'm going to run one more time. So still it is executing. Still it is executing here. So the conditions are still not matching here. Okay, now, so what we will do, we'll try to check with what exactly. Even though we are using this particular synchronized, even though we are using the synchronization, this particular block of codes are executing. The codes are satisfying here. Again, logic is implementing here. Okay, now observe what we are going to do. So tomorrow we'll try to check with the same example here. After completion of this particular example, we'll try to move on the important concept here. The Java 8 features we are going to discuss here. The default method related examples we are going to discuss in the tomorrow class. So after completion of this particular example here. So any questions regarding our today class? Okay, so we'll try to continue tomorrow.